Respected viewers, today we're going to share a heartbreaking story about a devout man of God, a doctor, and his only son. This story will bring tears to your eyes and move you to bow before the Almighty. We request you to stay with us till the end to hear the full story. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Respected viewers, in a small village lived a very kind and pious couple. They only had 2 goats and lived off the milk they got from them. Every time they had a child, the child wouldn't survive. Some would die at 2 years old, others after just a month. None of their children ever made it to adulthood. It was as if every time, by God's will, some illness would take hold, and the child would pass away. 6 of their children had died this way. After many years, by the grace of God, they were blessed with a son. But the child looked more like a grandson than a son because the couple was already very old. They fed the baby goat's milk. The father, now an elderly man, was deeply devoted to God. They lived in a small, broken-down hut. This old man, known for his piety, used to treat people who were bitten by animals, whether poisonous snakes, scorpions, or dogs. Not many people knew about this, but the couple was known for their kind hearts. Though poor, they were rich in generosity. When their son turned 15, he developed a mild fever. The old man gave him herbal remedies, but nothing worked. He didn't have enough money to take his son to a good doctor. Days passed, and the fever wouldn't go down. His wife suggested they sell one of the goats and take the boy to the city to see Dr. Chata, a well-known doctor with a lot of money and a large mansion in the city. Dr. Chata was passionate about playing games on his phone. That day, he was planning to leave the hospital to play. There were still 10 minutes left before the hospital closed. As Dr. Chata was stepping out onto the street, a bullock cart approached with a patient lying on it. An old man had brought him. The old man's clothes were worn and torn. Another man stood beside the cart. When the old man saw Dr. Chata, the man standing next to the cart said, "That's Dr. Chata." The devout old man folded his hands before the doctor and pleaded, "Doctor, my son has been sick for days. Please check him just once and give him some medicine." The doctor, lighting a cigarette, replied, "I don't see patients at this time. Come back tomorrow morning." The old man said, "Doctor, my son is in critical condition. He's unconscious." The doctor responded, "My shift is over. Come back tomorrow." The old man fell to his knees, holding the doctor's feet, crying, "Sir, my son is dying. He hasn't opened his eyes in 4 days." The doctor glanced at his watch. There were still 10 minutes left, but he said, "This is my game time. Come tomorrow." Desperate, the old man took off his turban and placed it at the doctor's feet, begging, "Doctor, please see him just once. If not, my son will die. I've already lost 6 sons. He's the only one left, born to us after we were old. If something happens to him, both of us will die grieving." The old man pleaded in the name of God and his prophet. A nurse standing nearby said, "Doctor, please check him once. The poor man is crying so much. At least give him some peace of mind." But Dr. Chata despised the poor. The old man's clothes were shabby. The doctor glanced at him and walked toward his car. The old man ran after him, still pleading, "Doctor, just see my son once. Please have mercy on me. I've lost everything to bring him here. He's all I have. He's my only support in old age. If he's gone, I won't survive." But the doctor didn't look back or listen. Even the people nearby felt pity for the old man. As the doctor got into his car, he said, "Come tomorrow morning," and drove off. The old man stood there for a long time, staring at the car, hoping the doctor would come back. But eventually, he told the cart driver to turn back. The bullock cart returned to the village it had come from. The devout old man had come to Dr. Chata as his last hope. But the doctor didn't even bother to look at him. That very night, the devout old man's son passed away. The elderly man had sold his goats for his son's treatment in order to save his life. These goats were the only support left for the couple. Now, there was no hope left in their lives, and they were just waiting for their own death. This way, their lives continued. The elderly man had the most sorrowful feeling about burying his son in his heart. He hardly ever left his hut, and Dr. Chata had accumulated a lot of wealth, but he still never saw any patients after his working hours. He only did things at his designated time. The elderly couple had only 2 children, a son and a daughter. The daughter was married, and the son was still completing his studies. His name was Raja, and Dr. Chata himself still looked quite young. Dr. Chata's son was the apple of his eye, but his passion was very different from his father's. He had a deep interest in keeping snakes. Every day, he would feed them milk and give them various things they liked. He had gathered many snakes of different sizes, and he took excellent care of them. His friends often teased him, saying that his father was a doctor, but he was becoming a snake caretaker. If there was a show at college, Raja would bring his snakes and make them dance. Even renowned snake charmers became fans of Raja. He had collected many medicinal herbs for the snakes. Dr. Chata's son was now 20 years old. His father had organized a huge party at home, and Raja's college friends were also there. Everyone ate, and the friends were having fun. One of the friends said to Raja, "Today, show us your snakes dance." Raja replied, "No, it's evening, and my snakes will get upset, so not today. Come tomorrow, I'll definitely show you." Another friend said, "Why are you delaying it? Today is your happy day, so you must show us. Look at how lovingly your friends are asking." One of the friends said, "Forget it. If Raja doesn't want to show it, we won't watch it. We'll see it another day." Hearing this, Raja realized his friends were disappointed. In a fit of anger, he stood up and took them to the room where he kept his snakes. He opened a box and began showing the snakes. Raja spoke to each snake, and they responded by doing exactly as he said. His friends were astonished, seeing how the snakes understood Raja's words. Then Raja lifted one snake and put it around his neck, and another wrapped it around his arm. Some boxes remained open, with snakes climbing up his legs. One friend said, "Raja, don't put the snakes on your neck. We'll see them just like this." Another friend, seeing this, became scared and regretted teasing Raja to show the snakes. But Raja was now furious and wasn't listening to anyone. One friend said, "I think these snakes don't have teeth. That's why they're not harming Raja." Raja laughed and replied, "Brother, Breaking teeth is the work of a charmer. I haven't broken the teeth of any of my snakes. If you want, I can show you their teeth." Then the friend said, "Yes, yes. We want to see the snake's teeth. We'll finally see how dangerous they are." Raja brought out a big box, and inside it was a large black cobra that seemed to be sleeping. His friends backed away, frightened. One of them said, "If this cobra bites someone, they'll die instantly. It's so dangerous." Raja said, "Yes, if it bites someone, no medicine will work." Another friend suggested, "Don't show us its teeth, Raja, just leave it." Raja said, "No. You all will see whether I have removed the teeth or not. If I have removed them, then everyone should be able to do the same." Some people say that snakes belong to no one, while others say they are very intelligent creatures. If they aren't bothered, they won't harm anyone. One of Raja's friends, who had been scared, said, "Forget about this. Let's go meet the guests." But Raja said, "No, first I'll show all of you the teeth of this snake." Raja then squeezed the cobra's neck so tightly that its mouth turned red. All the veins in the snake's body were compressed, and it was stunned by Raja's actions because it had never been treated this way before. Realizing that Raja was trying to kill it, the snake opened its mouth. Raja then said, "For those who doubted whether I had removed the snake's teeth, come and see for yourselves." Raja's friends moved closer to see, and they were shocked. Raja loosened the cobra's neck and tried to put it down, but the snake was now furious. As soon as Raja loosened its neck, the snake bit Raja's finger. The old man, who had sold his goats for the treatment of his son, had only one hope left: to save his son's life. But now, the couple had no hope left in their lives. They were just waiting for their death. Life went on like this for them. The old man, with the most sorrow in his heart, had buried the grief of his son. He rarely left his hut, while Dr. Chata had accumulated a lot of wealth, but still, he would not treat any patient once his time had come. He only did things on his own time. Dr. Chata had 2 children, one son and one daughter. His daughter was married, and his son, Raja, was still completing his studies. Dr. Chata himself appeared to be young. Dr. Chata's son, Raja, was very fond of keeping snakes. He would feed his snakes milk and give them various treats that they liked. He had accumulated many small snakes and took great care of them. His friends teased him about it, saying that while his father was a doctor, Raja was becoming a snake keeper. When there was a college show, Raja would bring his snakes and make them dance. Even professional snake charmers admired Raja, as he had a collection of medicinal herbs for snakes. Now, Raja had turned 20, and Dr. Chata hosted a large party at their home. Raja's college friends were also present. They all ate and were having fun when one of his friends asked him to show the snakes dance. Raja hesitated and told them that it might upset the snakes, and so he would show them tomorrow. But one friend insisted, and Raja, in frustration, took his friends to the room where he kept the snakes. He opened a box and started showing them the snakes, speaking to each one as he did. His friends were amazed to see how the snakes seemed to understand Raja's words. Later, one friend suggested that Raja should not put the snakes around his neck. Some of Raja's friends were frightened, thinking the snakes might bite. Raja ignored their warnings and continued showing off the snakes. Eventually, one friend said that perhaps Raja had removed the snake's teeth, which was why they weren't harming him. Raja laughed and told them that he hadn't removed any teeth from the snakes. If they wanted, he could show them the snake's teeth. Raja took out a large box and revealed a black cobra. His friends stepped back, fearful of it. One friend remarked that if the snake bit someone, the person would die instantly. Raja agreed and continued with his demonstration, even showing them the cobra's mouth. As he did, the snake, which had been calm, became agitated and bit Raja's finger. His finger started bleeding, and Raja rushed to his room, where he had a special herbal remedy to treat snake venom. The house was full of guests who were shocked to hear about the incident. "Doctor," Chata hurried to his son's side, trying to take him to the hospital. But Raja insisted on using the herbal remedy. "Doctor." Chata wasn't convinced, but reluctantly allowed Raja to apply the medicine. While the remedy was being prepared, Raja's condition worsened, and he started feeling dizzy and weak. He collapsed onto the ground, and his mother quickly rushed to his side, holding his head in her lap. Despite the herbal treatment, Raja's condition continued to deteriorate. "Doctor." Chata took him to the hospital, where doctors tried everything, but nothing seemed to work. Raja's condition worsened, and his body became cold. As his mother cried in despair, the news of Raja's deteriorating health spread throughout the town. "Doctor." Chata was beside himself with grief, blaming himself for his son's fate. As Raja's condition worsened, an elderly woman suggested that a healer might be able to save him. She mentioned a holy man living in a hut who had the power to revive the dead with Allah's permission. "Doctor." Chata, desperate, sought the healer's help. He admitted that he had warned his son not to keep dangerous creatures, but his son had ignored his advice. Now, the very same creatures had brought his son to the brink of death. "Doctor." Chata was ready to give everything he had, his wealth, his house, if only someone could save his son. Eventually, a healer was called, but he could do nothing. The healer said that Raja's fate was sealed and nothing more could be done. In despair, "Doctor." Chata realized that despite his medical expertise, he couldn't save his son. The atmosphere in Dr. Chata's home had changed drastically. Where there had once been joy, there was now sorrow. Meanwhile, in a distant village, an old man sat in his hut, praying. His wife was preparing a simple meal of dry bread, and they lived a life of humility and devotion. Neither had ever been seen laughing or crying, and their lives were simple, without luxury or comfort. The contrast between Dr. Chata's wealth and the old man's humble life was stark. The old man, living in poverty, was known for his faith and devotion. In contrast, Dr. Chata, who had wealth and expertise, was now helpless in the face of his son's fate. The two were very old. One day, they had no grain in their house. Being old, they could not tolerate even one day of hunger. The old man went to the shopkeeper to borrow flour, but the shopkeeper refused, saying that he would only lend him the flour once the previous debt was cleared. The poor old man, feeling embarrassed, returned to his hut and told his wife, "You go outside and bring some leaves. We will chew them today to survive." They ate the leaves and spread a sheet to sleep on, when suddenly a man knocked on their hut's door. The elderly man, who was a pious person, got up and opened the door. The man entered and said, "Do you not know that Dr. Chatta's son has been bitten by a venomous snake? There is no hope left for his son's survival." Hearing this, the old man's eyes widened. The old woman, having heard this, came to the man and said, "Is this the same Dr. Chatta who refused to even treat our son?" The man replied, "Yes, this is the same doctor. You should go to him and treat his son. He will reward you and end your poverty forever." The old man responded, "I will not go. This is the same doctor who went off to play, leaving my son untreated. I humbled myself before him and begged for my son's treatment. If only he had looked at my son even once, I would have felt some relief. Life and death are in the hands of God." The old woman added, "Now, Doctor, Chatta will understand the pain of losing a son." She then asked the man, "Does Dr. Chatta have another son?" The man replied, "No, he only has this one son. His daughter is married, but this son is his only support." The man went on to say that Dr. Chatta had done everything in his power for his son, but it seemed that there was no hope left. The old man, remembering how he had wandered helplessly to save his own son, started thinking of the past. The old woman said, "Look, son, we are not going anywhere. Today, this doctor will understand what pride really is. Go and tell him that the old man has no time left. He will treat his son tomorrow morning." The old woman continued, "Now I can rest, knowing that Dr. Chatta's son has surely passed." The elderly man quietly listened to their conversation. The old woman, feeling compassion, said, "Son, go ahead. Today, I will sleep peacefully." The man left, and the elderly man walked around outside, lost in thought. His wife came to him and said, "Come inside. I know you're thinking about our son. We must accept God's will. We don't have children, but Dr. Chatta must have accumulated wealth for his son. What will he do with that wealth now? It won't help him at this point." The elderly man, whose heart was kind, felt compelled to save Dr. Chatta's son. He said, "I must see that boy once. If I don't go now, what difference will there be between me and him?" His wife responded, "Don't go. Even if Dr. Chatta himself comes to get you, you won't go, and I won't let you. Every time I think about our son, I see his face. That cruel man never even looked at my son. He loved his game more than the patient. Yes, my son's life might have been written that way, but in my heart, I will always feel that if only that cruel man had treated him, perhaps Allah would have spared my son. I won't let you go under any circumstances. Let people say what they want. Poor people are always criticized, but no one ever points out flaws in the rich. Even if someone under their car gets crushed, no one says a word." The old woman continued, "In my 80 years, I have never heard of anyone being bitten by a venomous snake and not running to seek help. No matter the weather, they always go. But today, I see you, the man who never hesitated to help others, trembling to take a step out of his own home. The elderly man, who had never asked for anything in return, had always helped people selflessly. But today, he was stumbling as he took a step out of his house. His wife set a glass of water by his side and laid down to sleep. But the elderly man couldn't find peace. He felt like something was missing, as though he had lost something dear. Even in his prayers, he couldn't find peace. He felt like he was sinking to the kitchen. His wife fell asleep soon, but he kept thinking. After a while, he woke up, grabbed his cane, and was about to leave the house. His wife asked, "Where are you going so late?" The elderly man replied, I'm not going anywhere. I was just looking at the moonlight, wondering how much time is left before I can offer the tahajjud prayer." The old woman understood why he couldn't sleep tonight. His heart and mind were both preoccupied with that girl. Then the old woman said, "I know why you're walking around in the middle of the night. Doctor, Chata has never done anything good for us that would justify you going to treat his son. Even if he comes and begs you, don't go." Saying that, she went to sleep, but the old man's heart and mind were still with that boy. His heart wanted to go and treat the boy. After all, what fault was it of the poor child? Who knows what kind of pain he might be going through right now? Once again, the old man got up, opened the door of his hut, and stepped outside. It was midnight. The village watchman was blowing his whistle. When he saw the old man walking somewhere at that hour, he asked, "Where are you going this late at night?" The old man replied, "Where would I go this late? I just got up to check how much time is left before my tahajjud prayer. I couldn't sleep, so I stepped out to get some fresh air." The watchman said, "Dr. Chata's son is in really bad shape. You must have heard he was bitten by a poisonous snake. Their house is full of people. The boy is fighting between life and death. I thought maybe you're going there. If you just go and take a look at the boy, maybe you could save his life. Doctor, Chata is ready to give up everything just to save his son." With tears in his eyes, the old man ignored the watchman and continued walking, staggering like a drunk. His heart wished the earth would just open up and swallow him whole. He'd walked halfway already and started blaming himself. Why did I stop myself from going to the city? If the boy doesn't survive now, all the worship I've done in my life will go to waste. For the sake of humanity, I should have gone and saved that boy's life. Even if Dr. Chata didn't treat me well by not helping his son, I'm doing wrong too. Thousands die and live every day. But if someone's dying in front of you and you don't help, you're responsible for their death. You'll have to answer for that on the day of judgment. Thinking this, the old man started rushing to their home. When he reached the house, despite the late hour, there were many people gathered outside. Dr. Chata was sitting outside, devastated. Fear was clearly visible on his face. His wife was crying nonstop, looking at her son. Two men walked past the old man, whispering, "If something happens to Dr. Chata's son tonight, he'll be completely shattered." Dr. Chata had lost all hope. The old man was so exhausted his feet barely moved. He felt like he might collapse at any moment. The house was lit brightly on all sides, but there was a strange silence. Even the sounds of crying had grown faint. The old man's heart was sinking fast. He thought, maybe I came too late. In all his life, he had never walked this fast. Some people were already heading back to their homes. The boy's mother had cried herself to exhaustion. She wasn't in a state to eat or drink anything. The boy, Raja, was still breathing, but he was unconscious, barely holding on. By morning, he might be gone. Finally, the old man stepped forward and knocked on the door. "Doctor." Chatta came out and saw an old man standing there, hunched over with a cane. "Doctor." Chatta assumed he had come to get medicine for himself. "Brother, I'm going through the worst time of my life. Please come some other day. I might never be able to see another patient again," he said. The old man replied, "Dr. Sahib, I heard these words from you 15 years ago, too. Now step aside from the door. I need to see your son. God is the greatest healer. He can bring the dead back to life and cure the sick." Just then, someone came up to the old man and said, "It's too late now. Doctor, Chatta's son is taking his last breaths. His body's turned blue. Even Dr. Chatta has lost hope." "Doctor." Chatta left the old man alone with his son and stepped outside. The old man looked at Raja and said, "Nothing's lost yet. If God wills it, everything will be fine. Why are you giving up hope? Just bring me a bowl of water." The old man started reciting something softly. After some time, he blew into the water and then gently onto the boy's face. He picked up a handful of soil and applied it to the wound on the boy's finger. The old man had brought some leaves with him, some kind of herbal medicine. He put the leaves into the water and, he said, "Grind these leaves in this water and bring it back quickly." A woman ground the leaves and brought them. The old man squeezed the juice from those leaves into Fahad's mouth. He had been trying for 2 hours. The woman who had brought the leaves said, "This old man is just putting on a show. Can anyone really bring a dead person back to life? The boy only has a few breaths left. There's no treatment left that the doctor hasn't already tried since yesterday. What can this simple old man possibly do now?" The old man was exhausted from the treatment. Slowly and carefully, he gave all the herbal juice to Raja. He noticed that Raja was trying to open his eyes. Seeing this brought a little relief to his heart. Just before sunrise, Raja opened his bloodshot eyes, slowly sat up, stretched, and then signaled for water. The old man gave him the nearby bowl of water, and Raja drank it all in one gulp. "Doctor!" Chatta was stunned. He jumped with joy and quickly called for his wife. She came running, fell at the old man's feet, and said, "I will never forget what you've done for us." Everyone had gathered around Raja, asking how he was feeling. Meanwhile, the old man stood up and began to leave. A nurse nearby was watching him closely, trying to remember where she had seen him before. Then he started walking back toward his village. When Dr. Chatta came outside, he asked, "Where did that old man go? I want to reward him." One of his servants said, "He was just sitting here. We gave him some water, but he didn't even take a sip." Hearing this, Dr. Chatta said to his wife, "I don't know where he went. He didn't even drink a drop of water." His wife replied, "I was thinking of giving him whatever amount he asked for." Dr. Chatta told his servants, "Find that old man. His servants searched for the old man and eventually reached his village. By then, Raja had completely recovered. A nurse standing nearby said to Dr. Chata, "Do you know who that old man was?" Dr. Chata replied, "No, I don't." She said, "A few years ago, this old man came to your hospital with a very sick patient. You refused to see that patient. The old man pleaded with you, begged at your feet, even laid his honor before you by placing his turban at your feet. I think that patient meant a lot to him. After you left, he sat there, waiting, hoping you'd return to see the patient." Tears welled up in Dr. Chata's eyes. He said, "I know that old man will never take anything from me, but I still have to go see him, at least once. My son is alive today only because of that old man. Maybe the patient he brought that day was his own son." Then, Dr. Chata went to the old man's hut. At that time, the old man was deep in prayer, while the old woman was lighting a fire with sticks. Dr. Chata stood silently inside the hut. When the old man finished his prayer and turned around, Dr. Chata fell at his feet, begging for forgiveness. "O righteous servant of Allah, please forgive me. I know I wronged you terribly. I deeply regret what I did. For the sake of the God you worship, please forgive me. The truth is, I used to hate the poor and Muslims. When I saw you, I assumed you were both poor and Muslim, so I refused to treat your son. I beg you, for the sake of your God, please forgive me. You truly are a righteous man. You Muslims are indeed noble. Despite my cruel behavior, you still came to save my son's life. If it had been someone else, they would have remembered what happened that day and let my son die. But today, I've learned so much from you." Dr. Chata said to the old man, "I want to become a Muslim too, and believe in one God. Today, you've taught me that saving a life is the greatest act of virtue. A person should never be so arrogant. Everyone lives for themselves, but true life belongs to those for whom thousands live." The old man replied, "If you seek forgiveness, ask it from God alone." Dr. Chata sat at his feet, weeping. Then, the old man lifted him gently by the shoulders and said, "I forgave you the day I buried my son in the ground. Forgiveness belongs to God alone." Right then and there, Dr. Chata recited the Kalma and accepted Islam. From that day forward, he began treating the poor for free and spent the rest of his life worshipping Allah, Subhanallah. Respected viewers, arrogance is something Allah strongly dislikes. An arrogant person is not beloved to him, because it was Satan who first showed arrogance. He was full of pride and looked down on Prophet Adam, peace be upon him. Dear viewers, may Allah keep us from becoming arrogant and unworthy of His love. May He grant us the wisdom to learn from stories like this. Ameen. Please share this video with others. Maybe your one share will touch someone's heart and become a source of blessings for all of us.